Alright, what's up? I'm Brendan Hufford. Instead of my usual YouTube intro, we're going to skip all of that. We're going to dive right into the content. If you're new to this channel, I quit my teaching job after 10 years, 8 years of teaching, 2 years as an assistant principal. I built a business on the side. Now I do what I love full time, and I've noticed that my videos just documenting quitting my teaching, like my time in the classroom, have gotten 45,000, 5,000, all of these views on YouTube, and I just am so passionate about helping support other teachers that if teaching isn't the right fit for you, like you shouldn't live that kind of life. So I want to share with you a couple things today. First, I want to share with you 3 reasons that I quit teaching. I also want to share with you 3 reasons I didn't quit teaching. Based on all the comments in my other videos, I know that there are reasons people think I left the classroom. That is not true. I want to address those. And then if you're thinking about quitting teaching, make sure you watch to the end. I'm going to give you my best advice. I'm going to give you everything I have, walk you through my whole journey in this video and in others on this channel. I want to help you do the same if that's what you want in your life. Let's go. So first up is 3 reasons I didn't quit teaching. The number one reason that people on all of my other videos think that I quit teaching is the communities that I taught in. I taught in Gary, Indiana, and on the south side of Chicago. They were not like super easy neighborhoods. They were not super affluent areas. I don't know, for some reason people think that because you taught children who are not white, that's the reason you quit teaching, which is complete bullshit. I loved the community and love the communities that I taught in. It was an incredible, amazing experience to go at 22 years old, to go into Dalton, Illinois, to go into Gary, Indiana, and later the south side of Chicago, to go into those areas and just have an experience that I wouldn't have had otherwise. And I met the most amazing parents, the most amazing community leaders, the most amazing kids. The communities and the kids were not the reason that I quit teaching. They were, in fact, the best part of my teaching career. I taught at charter schools, where different from public schools, right, where kids actually want to go there. They're not being forced necessarily to go there, maybe by their parents, but at least their parents care about their education then. But the kids didn't pay to get in, they didn't test to get in, there was none of that. So we were just taking regular neighborhood kids and just causing these radical transformations. These 9th graders that would come in reading at a 5th grade level. And by the time they were seniors, we would have them reading almost at grade level. Being able to go to college, being able to do, and if they didn't want to go to college, like doing what they wanted with their lives, finally having that freedom. The same freedom I want to give to you in this video, we were able to give to kids, and I just love that. The next was the curriculum. I've had a lot of comments railing against like Common Core and stuff. I didn't have to deal with that, I'm sorry. Like I wasn't a math teacher or an English teacher. I taught psychology and sociology and AP government. Then I was an assistant principal for 2 years, and then I taught a really cool class at my last high school, this curriculum that they had developed called College Careers and Skills that literally taught kids how to do high school and why college matters. I was personally assessed. My teacher evaluations were based on whether the kids believed in themselves or not. Based on surveys, based on grades, based on attendance. We could tell if a kid doesn't come to school, they probably don't believe in themselves. So things like that, like I love that. That was everything that school did right. Oh, that was awful. So for me, the reason that I quit was not the curriculum. It was not the community. It was not the curriculum. Probably gonna have another C word here for number 3. As you guessed, it was not the craft, all right? The craft of teaching. I did not quit teaching. A lot of teachers quit teaching because they're shitty teachers.
If you would just get up and teach them instead of handing them a freaking packet, yo. There's kids in here who don't learn like that.
Bye.
They need to learn face to face.
Bye.
You're just getting mad because I'm pointing out the obvious.
Sorry, you're shitty, right? Like, I'm sorry. I saw it when I was an assistant principal. When I was a teacher, I thought everybody was doing good, like me. Everybody was working their butt off, like me. Then I became an assistant principal, and I realized people were showing movies. They didn't have any plans. They didn't try to get better. They didn't care about their kids. They wouldn't do the most basic things that I asked them to do. They didn't care. They were garbage teachers. It's okay. It's okay. There's going to be bad people in every profession. For some reason, we think that police, firefighters, doctors, teachers, martial arts instructors, I don't know, we think that these groups of people are for some reason going to be better human beings than others. Because of their vocation, they must be morally and ethically better. They're not. Everybody's just human. There are great police, there are bad police, there are great teachers, there are bad teachers.
Where's Jay Quellen at? No Jay Quellen here?
Do you mean Jacqueline?
Okay, so that's how it's gonna be. Y'all wanna play. I've got my eye on you, Jay Quellen.
There are great doctors, there's bad doctors. Like, it's okay that there's bad teachers. I'm not calling anybody out watching, but I want to be very clear. I was a very good teacher, getting top ratings. We'll talk about the ratings here in a second. Every time I was evaluated, I received exemplary ratings across the board. And I was always in teacher leadership positions. That's why I was able to become an assistant principal in the school that I worked at. So I was a really good teacher. Being a bad teacher is not the reason that I quit teaching. So I'm gonna get to the 3 reasons I did quit teaching here in a second, but I want to show you a video. I want to time travel. I don't know what this was. That was time travel back, I guess. I want to time travel back. I want to show you a video I shot. So I used to kind of have meltdowns. I was having so much anxiety around teaching, especially, or even when I was an assistant principal. I would just leave in the middle of the day to go get lunch. And I would just make these little videos on my camera thinking like, I just need to document this. I just need to document how I feel and what's going on in my head. And these were videos, I'll put the dates on them so you can see, like, they were back in the day, but this is what I was going through at that time, and I think it would be helpful for you to see them just because I want you to know you're not alone. Like, I went through this same thing, and that's what pushed me to make this transition in my life. So let's check out a couple of those videos.
So, took a little drive away from work for a second, went down to the beach just to have a couple thoughts and do some thinks. And here's what I'm thinking about. Just heard Ariana Huffington say that our resumes are very different than our eulogies. And I thought to myself, nobody is going to be at my funeral saying, man, Brendan Hufford was so amazing. He brought algebra test scores up by 4% in 2012. Nobody's going to be at my funeral saying, man, Brendan Hufford was just such a great guy. He made such an impact. He decreased referrals in our school by 12%. Really? Like, is that what I'm killing myself for? To raise test scores by 15%? Like, who cares? What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? I've worked as a teacher and the last 2 years as an assistant principal in the same school. It's the only place I've ever worked in my adult life, and I was very committed to this place. And at the beginning of the year this year, they decided to do new management, and they fired my boss, and yada, yada, yada. We're all leaving. It's horrible. No contracts, no money. It's a mess. No insurance. It's fine. Gotta take those binders with me, because those are mine. I'm not leaving them.
Now that we have that frame of reference, let's talk about the 3 reasons I did quit teaching. They're all going to be C words, because it's a teacher in me. I just feel like it's like 3 C's that I didn't quit and then 3 that I did. All right, anyways. So I didn't quit because of community, craft, and curriculum. I did quit, number 1, compensation. Compensation, like the pay. Realizing that the only way you're going to make decent money is either to move to a really affluent school district where you can make $100,000 a year and retire at 60 and blah, blah, blah. If you're passionate about working with underserved communities and marginalized people, you're not going to get paid. And that was hard for me. I have 3 young boys. As of time of recording this, I have 3 little boys. I have a wife. Like, I want to be able to take care of them. I want to be able to tithe. I want to be able to give money to causes that I care about, right? And I'm able to do that now. But when all I was a teacher, I couldn't do that. And realizing the only way to make more money was to climb the ladder, become an assistant principal, go to superintendent. I don't know. It was awful. That was a horrible idea. I didn't want to become a manager of teachers. I just wanted to be the best at my craft. And I thought it was insane that even when I started to climb, that's why I left being an assistant principal, is because I started to climb. I became an assistant principal, and according to public record, I was the lowest paid. My school, the assistant principals, there were 3 of us, we're the lowest paid assistant principals in the state of Indiana. I mean, who's going to stick around for that? Nobody, not me. I'll give you an example what really pushed me over the edge. So my assistant principal, my last year of teaching, was an amazing human being. But I think that because I was a good enough teacher, I did so well on my evals that it didn't really seem like it mattered, but you had to get 2 amazing years of evaluations in a row to get a raise. What I found was, my first year at that school, I thought I did really well, but I never got an end of the year eval. And then the next year, he was like, I lost it. It's like, okay. But I had to get, it's like, here, I'll give you an example. If you're a student, you think you're acing all of the tests. You think you're getting an A+. You're like, well, I need to get an A in this class. The teacher's like, I guess you're doing fine. And you're like, well, I think I'm doing great, but like, what if I'm not? What if I'm getting C's? Like, I think I know all the answers, but like, I want to know if I know all of the answers. Like, how can I get an A if I don't know how I'm doing? And that really pushed me over the edge. Like, how am I ever going to get a raise? How am I ever going to take care of my family if I don't even know year to year how I'm doing as a teacher? How can I improve on something that I don't even have an evaluation on? So compensation was number 1. Number 2, culture. School culture. And there's really 2 parts of school culture. There's bad administrators and inexperienced administrators. I want to talk about, we'll jump back and forth. Bad administrators. My first supervisor was 2 years away from retirement. She sat in her office, she read newspapers all of the day. She was a wonderful human, terrible assistant principal, terrible leader. She was just brought into this charter school as we were opening to round out her career and just call it a day. I got no feedback.
Shut up.
Then, after her, I had an amazing assistant principal, but I wasn't pushed. She didn't care if I got better as a teacher because I wasn't a problem teacher, right? All the other teachers around me were such freaking screw-ups that because I was in a non-tested subject, which was fine, right? Teaching psychology and sociology and AP government, I was in a non-tested subject, and I was a good enough teacher, I never got evaluated. I would get evaluated maybe once a year, and they were like, great lesson. And it's like, okay, so I guess I'm good then? And maybe sometimes I would get a raise, but then sometimes the schools wouldn't do raises. We already talked about money. We don't need to keep talking about money. But money, here's the thing. Money is not everything. But having money solves all of the problems that not having money causes. So it does matter. It just shouldn't be the main thing. So real quick, I'll get to more bad administrator stuff, but just real quick, inexperienced administrators. So me and my buddy were both assistant principals at the same time, and I remember having a conversation with him where I was like, hey man, the head principal was just fired, so I wonder who they're gonna get. And he's like, yeah man, I wonder who they're gonna get. And I'm like, dude, it'd be so stupid for you or me to do it because we've only been assistant principals for 1 year. And he's like, yeah dude, that'd be so dumb. Why would either of us do that? And it was we're just kind of talking, you already see where this is going, right? We were just talking back and forth, and it was oh, this is so dumb. I hope we get a good experienced leader. A week later, he's my boss. He had applied. I felt bad because I was trash talking that he shouldn't even apply. He did apply. He became my boss. My buddy. We're the same age. We both have 1 year of assistant principal experience. Now he's the head principal. I'm the assistant principal. I'm having a nightmare year, and he just doesn't have the experience, and nobody's mentoring him. Nobody's helping him. He doesn't have a mentor. So now he's the head principal. He was an assistant principal with no mentor. Now he's the head principal with no mentor. And we're having horrible situations. I got punched in the face by a kid. Just terrible stuff is happening, and he doesn't know how to react, and it's not his fault. But I'm shutting down. I'm not doing my job to the best that I can, which I still super regret. But then he's not able to figure that out because we're kind of buddies, but then now he's also my boss. I don't know, it's just a big mess, but there's bad principals and there's also just really inexperienced principals with no mentorship. They need mentors. Teachers need mentors. Assistant principals need mentors. Mentors need mentors. I don't know. All right, and then kind of finally to round this out, this is what people kept wanting me to rant about, I feel in my last video where I just said, hey, it's my last day, and people were well, what the heck, man? All these, yeah, I showed you all the comments. It was crazy. So last year was just bad administration. So the head principal was super vindictive, bullied teachers. He had these unreasonably high expectations, which were great because it had really good side to it. These thumbs up. There were good parts to it that he held the kids and teachers to really high expectations. So the crappy teachers, he would just fire them, and I loved that. It's so hard to teach when all the teachers around you are crappy. So that was wonderful, but the problem is when you got on his bad side, he just stuck it to you. In my first year, I was I don't understand why all you guys are complaining. He doesn't say anything to me. And they're well, Brendan, you're assertive, you're a large human, you're a good teacher. He's not going to say anything to you. He knows he can't push you around. My second year, things changed. And he started to try, right? I went to the bathroom one day during a passing period. I'm not sure when else I'm supposed to go. He deducted my pay 2 days before payday. And then when I threatened a lawsuit against the school, and we had to bring his supervisor into it, so the head of our school into it, she was like, look, you're gonna get your money back. But then they refunded me my money at like the after school rate, which was less than, so I just lost money for no reason. Like whatever my average hour, I'm salary, I don't know what my hourly rate is, but then they paid me back my hours. It was so weird and so bad. So then I had to fight for like more money. Like, you're not gonna keep talented teachers when you're docking them an hour here and an hour. You're gonna dock me an hour pay because I went to the bathroom during a passing period? Come on, that's absolutely absurd. And it wasn't a policy, it wasn't in our handbook. He just said like, there was I guess some clause in our handbook that said like, I can make whatever rules I want, and if you don't follow them or you create an unsafe environment, apparently me going to the bathroom and locking my door, there were no kids in my room, is an unsafe environment, they can dock your pay. It's completely illegal by the state laws in Illinois where I was teaching at the time. So the thing is, he just counted on me to back down, and I wouldn't, and that meant there was a lot of butting of heads during that time. All right, so number 3, it's a long video. I appreciate you sticking with me because I got something good for you here at the end. So number 3, the reason I quit, I wanted consistency in my life. I had been building a side hustle this whole time. I started a podcast, I started a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu website, I started a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brand, I started selling digital products, I started doing all of these things. I sold those companies you can check out the videos, I'll link them in the description below, maybe they'll pop up here, somewhere on here. I'll link those up, but check them out. I built these businesses on the side. I ended up taking on marketing clients, SEO, search, Google search marketing clients, and just totally transforming my life. And one of my buddies was like, why don't you just do that full time? You don't have to quit teaching and then own your own business. Why don't you run your own thing? It was kind of like teaching and side hustle. Well, why don't you just make your side hustle your job? Just get a job at a company doing that. And I was like, oh, duh. So I did that. I got a job, and I'm happier than I've ever been. I now have my own stuff on the side. I have my day job. I love both of them. I am the happiest that I've ever been because I have consistency across my life. I no longer have to care about curriculum maps, or not even care, pretend to care about lesson plans, about curriculum maps, about the do now that you were doing in the classroom took 7 minutes and you only had 5 minutes on the lesson plan, so let's try to tighten that up. Ugh, no more of that. That is done. I'm sure you want that to be done too. You want consistency in your life. I'm not saying you should make a business out of your passion. I did that with my jiu-jitsu company. I think that is a huge mistake. But I think, and what I'm going to outline here in a second, let's just get into it, right? If you check out the description below, I'm building out a playlist of this video and all the other videos I'm going to make on this channel about quitting your teaching job. It is only for teachers. It is how I did it and how, even the way I did it wasn't perfect, how I'd recommend you do it. So we're going to talk about what books should you read before you quit your teaching job. It'll cost you less than $100. It's a group of books that I recommend. They're absolutely vital that you read them before you even think about quitting your teaching career. We're going to talk about the number 1 reason not to quit your teaching job. The number 1 reason you shouldn't quit. We're going to talk about the 4 things that I think are absolutely essential if you want to quit. There's 4 kind of just main bullet points. If you want to quit your teaching career and move into something else, there's 4 things you need to do. And then I'm going to walk you step by step to how I used my side hustle to replace I essentially doubled my salary. I've since 3x'd that, my teaching salary. I'm going to show you how I did that. It's not there's not some make money online scheme or some sort of woo-woo craziness. I just learned skills and I sold those skills to people and I sold that knowledge to people. And the thing is, you're a teacher. You know how to learn better than almost anybody on the planet. You can learn new things. This old dog learned some new tricks, and then I was able to sell that knowledge. I was able to sell those skills to people. I don't know, you can tell, as this video's gone on, I've gotten louder and louder. I'm sorry I'm screaming at you. I'm just so freaking fired up, and I can't wait to get more videos in this playlist. But check out the playlist below whenever you're watching this. If it's the day this video is released, or 5 months later, or 2 years later, that playlist is going to be full of videos that are going to help you make the same transition I did. Teaching is an incredibly important career. It is not necessarily for everybody. And sometimes as teachers, we can take those skills we have and leverage them into helping more people with a bigger platform with a career change in our life. I hope this video has been helpful for you. I hope it's at least provided a bit of an explanation of exactly why I quit teaching. Don't forget to work hard, be nice to people, and don't get too lost trying to create something that matters.